Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the CDL Podcast channel. In this episode today, we're going to be talking about some of the news surrounding MW2 and the beta, a little bit of CDL news, some stuff involving the game, not too much roster drama really happening. Things are all kind of settled for the most part. We know the rosters, but we're going to talk about some odds that were released, some potential subs, maybe some third game mode news. And then we're going to get to know Brock a little bit more. We're going to talk about some of his little top 5 categories, his favorite guns, his favorite players in the CDL, his favorite maps, pubs, and competitive, just so you guys can get to know Brock a little better before we don't have time to do that and we're fully into season mode and talking about predictions and stuff. But before we get into that, Brock, how you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing good. Wonderful day so far. Here
Ready
doing
to talk some
another
COD?
podcast. Yes, I am.
Number 2, you a little less nervous this time?
Yeah, a little less, but we're getting there. We're getting there for sure.
We were just talking about this before the podcast. Brock and I we got about 8 weeks, which actually seems like less, like about 8 podcasts until we're actually into watching some real matches, because we got December 2nd start time this year instead of the stupid February or March start that we normally have. So we get to talk a little earlier at least. All right. So before we get into news, just want to tell you guys, if you enjoy this video, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. We just hit 700 subs. If you didn't tune into the last pod, I know it's off season. Things for the CDL are a little dying down. There's not as much interest. I can't blame you, because right now, let's be honest, there's not a lot going on in terms of the competitive world, but we're still out here. We're still making some podcasts for you guys. So if you guys could hit the sub button if you enjoy, we greatly appreciate it. And if you're on the audio platforms, drop a follow, drop a review on there. We've been getting a lot more reviews recently on Spotify, so I love to see that. But Brock, let's jump right into the news. The first piece of news Brock's going to be excited about. I know that. Not confirmed or anything, but we know last week we talked a little bit about domination, like was listed in the CDL modes as the third mode. But it sounds like it potentially could be CTF. Thoughts on that?
Oh, CTF. I'm excited for CTF because, I'm personally a big CTF fan over Control. And, I want to, the last few years have been Control. I'm just trying to see something new.
When was the last time we had CTF? World War II?
Yes. World War II.
Because I think they tested it in Cold War and MW maybe.
I think so, but they
didn't work.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a little scared because I feel like they probably didn't really test CTF much in this game either. They just kind of threw it. Apparently, it's in the game files people found it. I'm worried they didn't test the maps at all. But they're just yeah, CTF, that's a classic mode. We'll throw it in there, and it might not work at all either. But we might get stuck playing it because I think people would rather play a broken CTF over Dom.
Yeah,
I would.
I would definitely play CTF over Dom any day of the week.
I mean, Dom would be my absolute. I'd play Control 100 times out of 100 over Dom as well.
Yeah, if they put Dom, they should put the map voting again, where you can just vote the other one every time.
Yeah, for ranked place, we'd never have to play it.
Yeah, for real.
I mean, I'm overall excited for CTF though. I feel like it is a pretty good. I'd say it's probably a good CTF is probably, I don't know, BO4 Control was amazing. I don't really think Control has been in Cold War or Vanguard. I don't think Control was nearly as good.
It was okay.
BO4. But I mean, I like CTF, and I think a great CTF is probably the second best third game mode we could ever have besides Uplink.
So let's go back to boots on the jetpacks. I mean,
yeah, jetpacks.
Play some Uplink.
Maybe one day we'll have a COD title that's just competitive at all times and not even yearly release. And map 3 will be you just go to jetpack maps and use a jetpack for Uplink. That
would be actually crazy.
But CTF overall, you're excited for it? I'm pretty excited for it. I hope it's true.
I hope so too, because I'm kind of sick of playing Control after these times.
I feel like I'm gonna get to that point with CTF too, though. A few months into the game, I'm gonna be just give me hard points and searches. But at the same time, I think CTF can be fun to watch, especially sometimes stalemates can get a little old if they happen a lot, but they can be fun to watch. When you see a team making a team push, or when it gets to OT and it's intense, or
yeah.
I mean, the last time we saw overtime rules, it's if it goes to OT, if you cap in a minute, the other team has to cap in a minute or less, or they lose. That can be really exciting. When a team caps in 45 seconds in overtime, the other team has to make a mad dash for the flag.
Yeah,
that can be pretty exciting. So
definitely some crazy moments in the past with CTF.
Yeah, and I don't know. I'd like to see it overall, but other stuff with kind of some MW stuff. We're gonna talk. I don't know how much I want to dive like deep into MW stuff because we are gonna talk a little bit about like our thoughts in the beta and what we played so far.
Mhm.
But some stuff in MW2. Apparently, activating dead silence has a super loud audio cue, like a sound cue, and a really long animation. You know, you pull it like that little like radio type thing, like walkie-talkie thing. And apparently, you can slightly hear footsteps as well. So this is kind
I
of a
don't
mess.
I don't know how they messed that up with, dead silence. Says it in the name.
Yeah, dead silence. So you would think you shouldn't be able to hear anything involved with it.
But apparently, slightly.
I don't.
Which
Did you see the thing too? There's like a. I don't know exactly what they meant by it. There's like a slight glow around the character or something. I don't know if that's like a visual glow they're talking about or like what they're talking about with that.
um I know like when I was playing the Globa, I don't know if I saw like on other people.
You noticed like you had a glow on yourself.
Yeah, like a little bit, like a little white around the screen.
Okay.
It's kind of a little bit annoying, be honest.
Yeah, I feel like I noticed that slightly, but you played more beta than I did this weekend. But also, I saw. I'm trying to pull it up on CDL Intel. I saw a thing about dead silence that I wanted to mention. It was like something with the statistics on it. Like in
Hmm.
comparison, like the speed boost and stuff
Oh,
from MW. You know what I'm
I
talking
did.
about?
Yeah, I did see that.
Trying to pull it up here on
I
the
forgot.
side. Where
Um,
is it? Because you said, I know you said you saw something about them potentially adding like Ninja in or something.
I swear I saw that, but
Oh, I found it.
it could have been a troll tweet from someone.
I found it. Okay, it's from September 25th. They said it was like talking about the animation and everything, but CDL Intel tweeted like there's a YouTube video. I can't see who made the YouTube video, but whoever that is, shout out to them. I'm sure this is a lot of work to figure out. Oh, it looks like it's exclusive Ace, the guy who figures out like all stats for every like
Oh,
COD weapon and
okay,
everything.
yeah.
Um, he tweeted MW or CDL Intel like took it from his video. MW versus MW2. Both dead silence in like both games takes a minute and 34 seconds to charge until you get it. They're active for 15 seconds, and then obviously it's active longer. If you get a kill while it's active, it like resets that 15
Yep.
seconds. In MW, you got a 7.5% speed boost, but in MW2, you only get a 1.3%, so like a significant decrease in speed boost, which I think is good actually. Um, Activation time in MW is just instant. You popped it and you had it. It takes a full 2 seconds to activate in MW2. And then obviously there's a
Really? Two
sound and
seconds?
yeah, it says it takes about 2 seconds.
Then you revert that to the old MW.
Yeah, it's got to just be. I never thought I'd say I want anything to go back to how MW was, but
Yeah, for real.
they need to
Taking
revert
that
that.
though.
I like the idea of the speed boost thing though, that it's less because like I didn't really think that you should have like a giant speed boost when you pop Deddy, like a superpower, but it's only at 1.3%, so like a slight speed boost, but at 1.3%, you're probably not even gonna like really notice that.
Yeah, probably not really at all.
But that's what it's looking like for Dead Silence. You have any other thoughts on that? I just like I want them to remove that. I mean, I just wanted to make it perk, but I don't think that's gonna happen. So I want them to remove that sound cue, and I don't think there should be an animation because like there's a lot of times where like you're gonna get a kill in search or even in like a respawn, you're gonna want to pop Deddy and like get out
Hmm.
like unheard. And I don't think you should have to have a loud beep so they know when you pop it, and then like a full animation so you can't shoot back when you pop it. I'm not a big fan of that.
Yeah, I definitely died sometimes playing. Pop the radio out real quick.
Because it's so natural. You just like even in Vanguard you have Deddy, you're just used to like popping it and going. Like you're not
Yeah.
thinking like you pop it in the open because it doesn't matter. Like there's no animation.
Yeah.
Not a fan.
Not a fan as of right now. Yeah.
All right. Then some more positive news, I guess, for options. This isn't really like anything surprising. Like we figured this would be in the game, or we at least hoped, but we never know with Infinity Ward.
Yeah.
Um, Normal minimap options, on and off toggle for weapon mounting, a silent plant and diffuse option, the overhead spawn camera on and off are all in custom games. So like for a competitive standpoint, that's nice. At least we're gonna have normal minimap, no weapon mounting, silent plant. To me, the
Oh,
biggest one is the overhead spawn.
yeah. That was definitely when we were playing this in the search and destroys and stuff, and this overhead third person cam basically.
Yeah, that okay. Can we talk about that? That
I could be,
spectating thing is the worst thing ever in the beta.
yeah, yeah. It was so bad.
You're like in like when I spectate somebody in search, like I want to see their POV and like see what they're doing. I don't want to like stare at like over their shoulder.
Yeah, like backseat
It-
spectating or whatever.
It's like it wasn't even like third person either. It was like in between first and third person, because third person is normally like where you can like see their whole body, like Fortnite.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
wasn't even like you couldn't even see their whole body. You were like, it was like you were looking over their shoulder, literally.
No, you're not wrong. Now I think about it.
Yeah, I was not a fan, but
It is
I
the beta after
like.
all.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully I mean, that can't be in competitive because you can like see extra around walls and stuff for like you
Yeah.
can like peek around walls for people. That
They'll
like can't be
definitely
a
have to
thing.
turn that off. Go back to like
Yeah.
normal. And
Um.
I also like the silent plant diffuse, on like Vanguard for the first like month or two.
My God, yeah.
Just
When you have the loud cranky noise and we'd be
wait
playing, we just
outside, wait
scream
for the
crank.
crank. Yeah.
I remember
It-
Bocage was so toxic. You could just have somebody sit in like kitchen or like outside when they were planning on A because it's like the only site you could get to. The second you heard the crank, you just go chow him and kill him. It was just the most
yeah.
toxic thing.
Back by the wheel, back like
Yeah,
the tunnel area. Back
yeah.
there, yeah.
I would say though, like normal minimap, obviously we know this, but the overhead spawn thing is important too because like instead of like I think with overhead spawn they mean like the thing where like when you die it like gives you an overview of the map before you spawn back in, like you know how it, like zooms out and then zooms you back in when you spawn in,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
which I think that's important to have that out because like that gives you like a full view of the map, so like somebody could be hitting a flank and you could see them in that overhead cam, which like I think is so fluky and I don't want somebody to be able to like, you know how I play, I'm on the flank all the time, I'm always
Yeah,
hitting the
yeah,
pinch, like I don't want somebody to be able to call me out because they're spawning.
yeah, that definitely. And now I think about it, yeah.
Especially for competitive integrity too. Like in a CTF, if somebody's hitting like an OE, like they're hitting an overextension and like they're making the play for their team. If somebody dies and sees that in their overhead cam, like they can just
Hmm.
call it out and like that destroys competitive integrity. So
It
I'm
just
glad
ruins the
that there's not.
plays that are
Yeah, you
being
can't
made.
make plays.
Yeah.
All right. Then this is something I was pretty interested in kind of breaking up. We have a little bit more MW2 news to talk about. But this was something that kind of breaks up the MW2 stuff. I was like super interested to just talk about this and hear some thoughts on this. CDL Intel tweeted what a few days ago. Just it's like
Hmm.
a stack of all the games in COD history, and it was like, what was the last great Call of Duty game? Not like one you enjoyed or like a good one. What was the last actual great Call of Duty game? And I'm pretty sure we're gonna have the same opinion on this because we kind of have the same opinion on like good CODs, but
Yeah. The best, I mean, the greatest Call of Duty game. The
well,
last good one.
not necessarily greatest. What the last great one they
Yeah,
made
okay,
was.
the last great one, I should say, was definitely Black Ops 4, and I won't be told otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. We talked about this a little bit before the podcast, full transparency, but like anything in the franchise era, I think both of us would agree is not great. I think Cold War was decent. It was a solid game.
It was like mid.
I also think Vanguard was fun to play, but I definitely don't think it was great by any means. It was just like also a mid game at best.
Yeah, yeah, definitely for Vanguard. I really like
MW
Vanguard, the guns on it, but the maps were not very great.
squad spawns, time to kill was too low.
Just predict the spawn.
We know our thoughts on MW, the worst COD ever made.
I
That's
think,
my
yeah,
opinion on
I
it.
think I played that for like maybe a week, maybe less, and then quit.
And then like kind of going back in order, then it goes to BO4. And I think both of us would probably put BO4 in like, I don't know, maybe like our top 3 CODs of all time.
Yeah.
For competitive,
Uh,
it might be number 1 for me. It's between that and BO3.
Competitive wise, it's definitely number one for me.
It's so fun to play. I can see like if objectively, I can see like saying like Black Ops 2 is the best competitive game, but in terms of like the fun we had with it,
Yeah, the great insane plays with the specialist.
yeah. Like I can see if your argument is BO2 is a better competitive game. Like I think objectively it is a better competitive game. Like it makes more sense. But BO4, like in terms of the fun I had, also because back in Black Ops 2 I wasn't very good, and in Black Ops 4 I was pretty good. So like that's
Yeah,
always going to be something. Like when you're
that
better at
also
something, it's going
helps.
to be more fun.
Yeah, it does help.
Like you say BO4 is the last great game ever made.
Yeah.
I think
It,
I think I would agree with you. The only argument I would have is probably maybe if I don't consider BO4 great, I would say Black Ops 3, but I think BO4 was also great. And it depends like what you're talking about. Like if you're talking about competitive, I think it was definitely BO4. Overall, it's probably still BO4. But if we're talking overall, I maybe go back to BO3 then, because I think BO3's pubs are better than BO4 and like zombies and all that stuff. But like strictly
yeah.
competitive, I think it's BO4.
Definitely for Black Ops 3. The overall game is better than Black Ops 4, but in Black Ops 4, I really only played like competitive.
Yeah. Like we were talking about this too, like what we consider great games, and like I don't know if you agree fully with this, but I think we literally go BO4 back to BO3 back to BO2 and then like MW2 MW3 like the classics. I think like the last 3 Black Ops and then like MW2 and MW3 are probably like the 5 Call of Duty games I'd consider in the great category.
Yeah. Didn't a lot of
Like there's a
people
lot of good
didn't
ones.
a lot of people like Ghost though?
People like Ghost for competitive, but like I don't think anybody would consider it in like I think there's like a cult following for Ghost S&D, but like the game that I think a lot of people would argue for that personally I didn't play as much and I regret it. Like to this day, it's the one COD I wish I played more. Is AW. There's like a cult following for that game that like people will die on the hill that it's like the greatest game ever made.
I unfortunately did not play Ghost or AW.
I know that we would have loved AW though, because you and me are both like we're advanced movement players. Like we like the
Yeah,
like
the
advanced movement
jetpacks.
stuff. Yeah. I know I would have loved AW if I played it more. I watched it a lot. I just didn't play it a lot.
Yeah.
But I think we were in agreement that BO4 is probably the last great one made.
Hopefully
I'm
MW2
not holding
now.
my hopes out. I'm not holding my hopes out for MW2, but I'm holding my hopes out for Treyarch's next game. I always have hopes for Treyarch.
Yeah, that is true.
All right. Next thing, kind of going back to MW2 stuff. Speaking of that game, Infinity Ward. They are looking to avoid adding enemy nameplates at all costs for whatever reason. They say they're looking into like other ways to increase enemy visibility for whatever reason. Like the technical, like the actual quote from the blog is enemy visibility is something that came up throughout both weekends of our beta. While many of you remarked on the improvement in weekend 2, we'll look to tweak increased enemy visibility to allow for better visual tracking of opponents that is not solely the traditional nameplate. So basically they're doing anything they can to like try to um
Yeah, it is.
like improve
Um,
it without doing it.
Honestly, just put the nameplates back up there. Just I couldn't see nothing when I was just shooting at random stuff.
It's also like for competitive, it's actually like a lot bigger deal than like I'm surprised we haven't heard more about it because for competitive, it's a massive deal.
Yeah,
Like maybe for ranked, it's not as big of a deal because you're not consistently playing players that you know, but like in competitive, and this is kind of like a deep dive, like really deep into like competitive COD. Like if you're just like a surface level fan or haven't been a fan of competitive COD, you're listening to this right now and you're not like a huge competitive person, it's a big deal because like when they're playing in 4v4, like let's say it's a Faze Optic matchup or something, and Scump sneaks through. Like a lot of times, like whoever is IGLing or somebody on Faze, like Slasher will be saying, like, hey, we just killed Dashy, Illy Shotzi. Oh, we killed him again. Like we haven't killed Scump in a while. Like Scump's got to be like sneaking through or something. Like you call out players like based on like who's dead, or like when somebody kills you somewhere, you call out this guy's here. And it's a lot harder to do that if you can't see their nameplate. Like you can see who killed you in the feed, but it's a lot harder to like look down at the feed, call out where they are. Like there's a lot more processing you have to do. You can mid gunfight call out like if you're playing Vanguard, you're playing like Bocage, like oh Scump's on like the B hut or something. Like it's gonna be a lot harder to call out players and keep track of them, which is a huge thing in competitive COD.
yeah, for real. So they
Like
gotta increase it by a lot or put the nameplate back up.
I just want the nameplate.
Yeah, I don't know why they just took the nameplate out.
It's like they're trying to change things to like make the game different that like aren't broken.
Yeah,
Like there are so many things that are broken with their games recently that they need to fix the things that are actually broken, not the things that are good.
yeah, they're trying to like whatever worked, get it out the window, put some new stuff in, see if it works. If it doesn't, oh well.
It's like I don't get it. Like it is even in ranked, like when we're playing against like random people, we'll like make a name for them or like a shorter name. We'll be like, this guy's here, and like it's just so much easier because then like if
Yeah,
somebody's sneaking through, like your teammate can kill him and say, "Oh, that guy's dead," and then like you can kind of keep track of where people are on the map. If you can't see their names over their head, it's gonna make it way harder to keep track, and that's like we said, that's a massive thing because like you can call when somebody's on streaks, you can call out like, "Hey, Scump on streaks," and then like you focus out Scump. Then okay, we killed Scump before he got his streaks. Good. It's gonna be a lot harder to keep track of that
yeah,
when you don't have
definitely.
nameplates.
Especially if they all run the same skins.
Yeah, which I think in especially in CDL, they're all just running like standard skins.
Yeah,
We see the like the CDL skins on broadcast, but they're just running standard in
yeah.
actuality.
So we can hope and pray that they just put the nameplate back.
Hopefully. All right. Next thing. A couple more things before we get into thoughts on the beta. The odds for CDL Championship were released. It's on like some betting app. I can't remember exactly what it is. I don't even think it's legal in the US. I think it's like Bet365 or something, but they released the odds. Kind of funnily enough, it's like roughly in order of the way we made our tier list. Like in a way, it's like pretty similar. We made our tier list last week for where we're
Yeah.
ranking the rosters. If you guys didn't check that out, go check it out. Last video, it's towards the end of it. We did a little tier list. But it's roughly what we made pretty much. Do you have anything that sticks out on it in terms of odds? Like anything you think is like definitely in the wrong place? Who are you throwing some money on?
Um, I would I would have bet on the Legion to go above London Royal Ravens, honestly. For
They're
some
like
reason,
significantly below them too.
yeah, like 30 less
Yeah, I
or
think the
30
odds are
more.
like something. So I think it's like they're 81 to 1 odds. So like a dollar would net you 8.1, like $8.10. I think is how that works.
Yeah. I don't know. The Vegas Legion. Donnie Temp.
And probably not last place for the first time ever in terms of
Potentially
betting
not
odds.
last place. Potentially. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't. I mean, like,
I just want to see Donnie do good.
yeah, I don't like. I was just shocked that they weren't last place because like we didn't have them. We had them in like 11th or 10th, like ahead of Florida, like around the London range and C.
Mm,
Uh, there's nothing that like terribly shocks me on this list. I guess maybe the one team I'm surprised about. Actually, I'm kind of surprised that Ultras as high as they are. I don't think it's necessarily bad, but at the same time, there tends to be like a stigma around EU teams like never being rated as high because they haven't really won all that much. And like the top three teams in terms of odds, Faze, Optic, and Thieves all are
that's a
full NA.
given.
And then like Ultra is half and half now because they have Scrappy and Standy. And like I really like the Ultra team. I think that in fourth is like definitely a good spot for them. But I really thought that like I guess Minnesota Rocker is 3 EU players now that I think about it, but like I thought Rocker would be ahead of them because of like attach, and I thought for sure they'd put Surge ahead of them just with how good they look last year, and Ultra kind of struggled a little bit more. And I even thought like betting odds they might put LAG in front of them just because like the big names like Arcitys and Hook. I think Ultra should be ahead of most of these teams, but that's like the one that sticks out to me. I'm surprised they're as high as they are.
Yeah, the Ultra should honestly like swap places with Surge.
You think? You think Surge should be up in fourth and
Yeah.
Ultra should drop to sixth?
Yes. Surge is I feel like Surge is gonna do really good this year. More consistent.
And like I think I mean I guess Scrappy could be that high ceiling player, but it feels like Pred and Sib ceiling is just like some of the highest ceilings in the entire league.
Yeah. Scrappy will probably do really good though this year.
I think like is there like a really maybe you're not saying this team's gonna win champs, but is there like a team below like Surge? Because like all their odds aren't like that long, but like any team below Surge that has like pretty long odds that like you think placing a bet on like wouldn't be that bad. Not saying that they're gonna win it all, but like that you think has like
They're
a
gonna
decent
place
dark horse
well.
chance. I see mine for sure.
I think the subliners could.
Yeah, I
If the
was choosing between
teamwork
the
is there.
subliners and one other team.
The what was the other team?
I like that Boston. Boston's odds are almost twice as long as subliners. Like, I don't know.
That yeah, Boston could sneak by a win.
I
Teamwork. They
really
definitely need the
like
teamwork
that.
though.
Yeah, because like I feel like Boston, how many times we saw them finish top three, we saw them finish like top four. They were always basically top six, and they went like we said, they dropped TJ and get a lot more slaying power and big wake.
Yeah,
I honestly, I'm not saying Boston's going to win an event or win champs, that's for sure. But like, I do think with them listed as the ninth team, the ninth best team, I do think like at those odds, like I'm going to pick Boston to probably finish higher than ninth at a lot of events.
yeah,
I can see them outperforming ninth in a lot of ways. So like, I do like their odds that far. Other than that, like I'm just might as well throw all my money on Faze because I feel like that's the safest bet. But there's not a lot of payout in that.
Faze or Optic. First
Are you
three.
are you surprised that Faze is at 3 to 1 and Optic's only 3.5 to 1? Does that surprise you? That Optic's
Um,
that close to them? Do you think it'd be wider?
it should be a little bit wider, but I get why it's so close.
Yeah, I get it too. You also like you need to see the teams in the game because maybe Optic like they have talented players. Maybe this will be their game.
Yeah,
I'm a little surprised that Thieves is below Optic. I figured coming off a world championship, maybe they would open up at like as the best odds or something.
yeah.
But I don't really
you know, after winning the chip, they lay off the gas a little bit. You know, some players do that.
get a little lazy.
They already got the chips. They don't have to practice as hard.
I overall though, my final thoughts on it, I actually am pretty okay with the list. I think like maybe there's a couple teams you could swap here and there, but overall I think it's like I could easily see the standings at the end of the year. Like if you guys haven't seen the order goes Faze, Optic, Thieves, Ultra, Rocker, Surge, Gorillas, Subliners, Breach, Ravens, Legion, and Mutineers. Like if you told me at the end of the year that those were the way the standings went, I would maybe, like I said, swap Boston to the top 8 or something. But like if that was the final standings for regular season, I wouldn't be shocked by that.
Yeah, pretty accurate standing so far, except unless like one team just bottoms out.
Yeah, which is, I mean, somebody's bound to like suck that's towards the top, but like overall, I could easily see that being pretty accurate.
Yeah.
All
Overall,
right.
decent one.
Next thing, last thing before we talk some MW2 thoughts. We gave a lot of thoughts. I don't know how much we have to really talk about, but Scraps, potentially a sub for London Royal Ravens. He was talking about like he's got a mover or something from EU. So maybe Scraps back in the league as a sub.
I kind of Scraps. I haven't seen him. He hasn't played. He hasn't played for 2 years now.
Last he played was Cold War. He was on like Paris in Cold War.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I think he should. I think he might be a pretty good sub for London Royal Ravens if like what Paul X is the flex right now.
Yes, it's 0 in the main and Paul and Scraps can play sub though. He's played sub in the past too.
Yeah, but I see him more as like a flex player.
So do I.
I think if Paul X starts, not doing so well, Scraps would come and do really good. Honestly,
Yeah, I fully agree. I'm obviously just like slightly skeptical, maybe because like he hasn't played in so long.
yeah.
Like he didn't even play challengers at all in
I think he's played
Vanguard
Warzone.
to my knowledge. Yeah, like streaming and stuff, and like I don't know, maybe that means Wuskin is also going to try to come back. I thought they both said they were trying to play challengers this year. I hope he's able to make it back though, because Scraps personality wise is like a great personality for the league. He's super funny and like one of the better personalities out there, and he is extremely talented. Like we've seen him be on very good teams a lot. Like last team that comes to mind that was very good that he was on is like that BO4 team on Faze.
Yeah,
Where they kind of choked at champs, but like that was a pretty good team with like Asim and Cellium and Zero and Zuma.
yeah. That was definitely a good team.
And like Scraps has a lot of talent, so I'd like to see that. And like if he starts frying in challengers and like London struggling, which there's definitely a chance they could be struggling because their roster doesn't seem like crazy good. I could see Scraps coming in, and like I said, potential wise, he's got a lot of potential, and personality wise, only thing that might screw him is he's been around, and like we know, it's tougher to get back into the CDL when you've already been in the CDL and like been around because like people have thoughts on you, they want to take a chance on the potential. So like the newer players usually always get a shake first.
I'm definitely rooting for Scraps though.
Yeah, I always liked him a lot. He's entertaining too, which you can never have enough entertaining players for the league and personality wise.
That is for sure.
All right. Before we jump into getting to know you a little more and your COD history, you have any thoughts on the MW2 beta? You played more than me, I think. I played like a little bit here and there, like enough to get like a feel for the game, and then I'm not gonna have much of a chance to play heading out because I'm gonna be gone all weekend this weekend. But overall, general thoughts on the MW2 beta, like maps, guns, the game overall, movement.
My thoughts on the beta. Let me see here. First of all, I really can't. I'm shooting this gun. Can't see enemy nameplates. Might as well close my eyes if I'm at it. Just shoot my gun, see if I get a kill. First of all.
Yeah.
Then I pull up the radio, pop some dead silence, get killed doing that a bunch of times.
Yeah.
And then the guns are okay. And then the gunsmith, I can figure out these attachments.
Yeah.
You said you had to like unlock a red dot with a submachine gun for like an AR or something. I was like, I was not a fan of whatever they're trying to do there. And honestly, my favorite thing of the beta was I pulled out the sniper rifle and I had some fun with it. But honestly, I didn't really like the beta that much, to be honest.
Yeah, that's kind of my thoughts. you were talking about the red dot thing. Like we were in a party with one of our other friends, and like I was trying to put a red dot on my M4, and I had it fully maxed out, and all I had was like this like ACOG sniper scope, and I'm like, dude, how do I unlock this? And like it was like the three of us had to like pull out some math equations and like figure it out. Apparently, you had to like pull out some random sub and level that up to like level 7 in order to unlock the red dot for the other gun, and then like we figured out
Yeah,
it's basically like every gun you unlock specific attachments, and then like once you unlock them you can use them for everything, so it's really not as complicated as you think, but like they don't like explain it anywhere.
yeah, they just like free for all, figure out yourself basically.
And yeah, like I'm never going to be a fan of gunsmith. There's just way too many attachments in the game right now. It's too much. But my
Yeah,
thoughts, I agree with you. Visibility, like when you're playing that museum map, um and somebody's like far away from you and you start shooting them with like the recoil and no enemy name, like I can't tell if I'm hitting them or not, besides the fact that I see hit markers. Like it's impossible to
yeah,
see. The deady thing, obviously an issue. One thing I will say is I thought the maps have potential in comparison to like MW 2019 maps and like Vanguard maps. Like I did see a somewhat focus on like MW. There was like 8 trillion windows in every lane, so you had to look like a million spots to cross. I do think I saw more like classic 3-lane attempted maps. Like you could
yeah.
clearly see on that like market map, there's like a clear like middle street, and there's like the side buildings on one side, and then like the upper
Hmm.
building and like a side, and then like uh
Even
on farm,
the
there's a
farm,
pretty
yeah.
clear. There's like a pretty clear 3-lane. Farm reminded me of, I can't remember because I didn't play a lot of Ghost, but it reminded me of that freight map on Ghost and of Gunrunner and MW. Like it was a lot like that map. Um,
Farm was okay, but there's like a when you go middle, basically there's a maze in there
yeah,
in like the warehouse.
but like you know what I mean. It felt like they were like kind of had like a 3-lane ish feel to
Yeah,
them, which is more than like you can say about MW. So like I have hope for that. Um, I always give betas a benefit of the doubt too, because typically, I mean, obviously betas are just pubs, and like for you and I, we're always playing ranked. I
yeah.
felt like I didn't mind the movement. I know like slide canceling is a big thing, and I know you like to get cracked in slide cancel, but I felt like the movement felt pretty smooth. I think the guns felt good, like they felt pretty fun to shoot, and the movement felt okay, and I think the maps had potential. So I think like ranked play wise, as long as there's a good system, which IW's never ever had a ranked play in their game ever.
Let's hope they do.
I feel like the game has potential to be at least fun. I don't think it's going to be an elite tier competitive game by any means, but I feel like for like the casual player playing ranked like us, I think the game has potential to be fun, but there are a lot of things that worry me.
Yeah. If it has a good rank play, I'll play it. Like we played Vanguard, and Vanguard wasn't the best, but I still
Yeah,
enjoyed it because like the team aspect.
yeah, and I do think that the maps have potential. I mean, and also we have like what 10 more maps that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for year 2 as well with that rumor. I hope that rumor's true, because like they were saying, like every original MW2, like the old version MW2, um, every map from that game could be coming back. So that could make competitive interesting if they introduce like hardpoint on Scrapyard or something,
Terminal
or
S
like
and D,
Terminal S&D or something like that hits the rotation in the second year. That would be awesome.
and then you go to game 5, play 1v1 on Rust.
Yeah, 1v1 or us.
Free
You
for all
choose your
versus 30.
challenger. We get like Shotzzy versus Simp game 5.
Yeah, that would be funny.
I mean, I'm excited for like that aspect. I do think the game, and let's be honest, in the worst titles ever, the CDL, they find a way to make it fun to watch, because it's just fun to watch. The top players can be at the top level. So like, I'm not worried about watching the CDL or anything like that. But like, in terms of playing the game, if you're not a competitive player and it's like pubs and stuff, I'm worried for you. But competitive wise,
Yeah.
we're gonna find a way to make it fun when we play with like our squad or when we're watching CDL. I'm not worried about that. Like, at least the game is feels somewhat good and like seems to be pretty smooth with movement, which is like really the main thing. As long as the players can move around the map fluidly and shoot their gun and like have entertaining guns, it's gonna be good. Honestly, the one thing I want to change, I hope they have like a setting in CDL where they like turn the health to like 1.25.
Yeah, the time to kill is really
Too fast.
fast. It's faster than Vanguard, and I thought Vanguard's time to kill is fast.
Yeah. So I would like to see, that's like if I had to change one thing, like obviously like mini map and stuff like that would be like a thing, or like putting dead silence in the game. But in terms of competitive, like we're gonna have the regular mini map, and like hopefully we get a ninja perk at some point in the 2 years of this cycle. Like the biggest thing I would change is I want a higher time to kill. Like I like the games where you get legit gunfights. That's why I'm a fan of like a BO3 and a BO4,
Yeah,
even a Cold War, where you have more time to kill, so there's actually gunfights. Like in Vanguard, you could like camera somebody, jump around a corner, and zap them so fast with like a 3 bullet to the head that like they didn't even shoot back, and there wasn't like a legit gunfight. Like I like the finesse, like throw a shoulder, getting a like legit gunfight, which turn up the time to kill a little bit might happen.
I think they should bring back the stim shot. How it was in Black Ops 4.
You're gonna get some people pissed off.
It wasn't that difficult to do.
I know, but people, I mean, I think it's fun. It does lead to some cool plays when you're playing, but I can see like if that was your full time career and like you call a guy's one shot, or like it completely changes the strat and search. Like you get a guy one shot in a corner, normally you'd push him out. Now you don't know if you can because he can just stim and reach alley you.
The unknown.
Yeah. But you got anything else in MW2 before we jump into our little next segment?
Nope. Hopefully, good maps, good guns, good rank play.
Not crazy squad spawns.
Yeah, no squad spawns, please.
Yeah, it's gonna be though. It is. But yeah, I would say the same thing. Just give me like playable maps. Because like I'd say Vanguard is maybe some of the worst maps I've ever seen for competitive, and I still had fun playing rank just because like I enjoy rank so much. Just give me like somewhat competent maps, and a ranked play, and I'll be fine.
So you're saying you don't want MW2 back?
No, absolutely not. I don't want Gav back ever. All right.
Oh.
Thoughts on some of your top 5. So now we're going to do a little bit of a segment. This is kind of like throwback to when Kyle and I would do random segments. So we talked news. Now we're going to do like a mini second segment. And obviously you guys know this is Brock's second podcast, so hasn't been doing it for very long. And really like last week, we dove into a little background about like who Brock was, his history and COD and like what games he played. But now like it's the off season. We're dead on topics. And like I thought it'd be a good time to like get to know more about Brock's history. So like when you guys are listening next year and maybe where like some of his opinions come from. So like we might add a few of these into the end of every podcast leading up to the season or something. But we're gonna do like a Brock's top 5 segment. I'm just gonna kind of like host it almost and like go through and maybe talk about some of his answers. But in this one, we're gonna do like a bunch since we only talked for like a half an hour on news. First thing is gonna be top 5 maps, competitive and pubs. Then top 5 guns, which is kind of just like overall not strictly competitive, and then his top 5 favorite players in competitive COD. So we can start out with maps. You want to do pubs maps or comp maps first?
One thing before we go onto the maps.
Yeah.
Last week I said that MW2 was my favorite COD. I'm twisted my words up. It's MW3 for anyone that's wondering. Not MW2, but MW2 is second.
Yeah, we had one of our friends commented that MW3 is the GOAT, and I know I've been friends with Brock for like half my life, and I know that his favorite COD is MW3, and it's like a joke that like I always tell him MW3 is trash, and I think I have MW3 in like my top 5 all time, so I definitely don't think it's trash. But when you said MW2 is the greatest, I remember like last week I even questioned you. I'm like, not MW3, and you're like, nah, MW2.
Yeah, I definitely twisted my words up.
So you're officially staying here now. MW3 is the greatest COD of all time.
Yes, I just want to clear things up with that.
I'm so disappointed in you.
It's just.
Although I think more people would support your claim of MW3 over mine of BO3.
BO3 was a good one though. It was a very good
support
one.
You.
Depends.
All right. So you ready for maps? You want to do pubs or comp first?
Let's do pub maps.
All right. Let's start with your number 5.
Number 5.
Just go down the list, and like if I have comments on them, we can like talk about them. If I'm like surprised by any of them, because we did this. Oh yeah. Also, for full disclosure, I had him make his list, and I don't know anything that he put on his list. Like I know him pretty well in terms of his like COD opinions, so I feel like I might know like a general idea, but I actually have no idea what they are or like what games they're from or anything.
Number 5 is gonna shock you. Maybe it is Summit from Black Ops 1.
That does surprise me actually, because you weren't really much of a Black Ops 1 person.
The little I played, I like that snow map.
That would probably hit me too, because like I've talked about this a bit on the past in the podcast, but like Black Ops 1 is like my first COD that I really played, because I was always a Halo kid, and then like my cousin brought over BO1 to my house on Nuketown 24/7, and then like I literally like got in trouble because I played it for like 12 hours straight, and then all of a sudden it was 5 a.m. and I was like pretty young. And then I got in trouble for staying up like all night playing it because I literally didn't even realize what time it was. I was like just dropping a 0.4 every map on Nuketown.
Locked in.
Like I was using the Enfield. It's like an AR.
Oh, I
like
definitely know that gun.
And I was just spam using it because I was just so like I was only a Halo 3 player. I never touched COD, and I was like, oh my god. I like didn't want to admit it because I was like such a Halo fan, but I'm like, oh my god, I love this game.
Yeah. Number 4, we're going with Raid.
Okay.
Number 3 is Nuketown.
Damn, that's kind of low. I thought Nuketown would be like 1 or 2, like it is for most people. I think I know what your number one's gonna be though, but we'll see.
Number 2 is Terminal
Okay.
from MW2.
I know what your number one is.
Number 1 is the greatest map that's ever existed, is Dome from MW3.
I knew that was gonna be number one.
It's
Hey,
just such a great map.
I think like overall, I feel like, I mean, it's your list, obviously. That's like, I feel like you probably have a pretty similar map selection to like a lot of people. Like, I feel like there's a lot of older people with Summit on theirs. Obviously, Nuketown and like Terminal and Dome are maps that are like on a ton of people's lists.
Yeah.
What was your number 4 again? Raid?
Raid.
Yeah, that's probably on a lot of people's lists as well. So I feel like that's a pretty like
It's kind of difficult
pretty good
to fit
list,
5
yeah.
in of however
feel
many
like-
the good maps are.
I feel like mine would be pretty similar to yours. I don't actually have like a draft up of what mine would be. Maybe we can do that like in a week or something. Like I can go over mine. I would probably say like I could see Summit being in mine. I don't think I would have Dome because like MW3 isn't as nostalgic for me as it is for you. I like was more of still a Black Ops person. I'd probably put like Summit. I think I would put Firing Range in mine.
Yeah, that is a good one.
I really liked Firing Range a lot. I would probably throw for competitive and pubs. I just love Fringe in BO3.
Mm-hmm.
That'd probably be up there for me. Nuketown would probably be my number one just because Nuketown 24/7 weekends is like how I got into COD and BO1. So that's like the nostalgia for me. And then other than that, I don't really know. Like, I really liked Scrapyard a lot back in the day when I first started playing like MW2. I actually, you know what I do? I like High Rise a lot too. That'd be up there.
There are a lot of people like High Rise.
Yeah.
High Rise to me was just like, eh.
I liked High Rise because my memories in High Rise are just quick scoping. Like the first times I ever quick scope, we do like 2v2 quick scopes, and I like on High Rise, and I love that. In spawn shot.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, yep.
So I don't know. I like that list. I can respect it. How about comp maps, competitive maps?
Comp maps. Number 5 is Slums.
Okay, so Hardpoint and CTF was that? I think.
Yes.
Okay.
Number 4, London Docks.
Oh my god! I can't believe a World War II map made it.
I know. I like London Docks a lot.
All three modes too.
Shout out to our friend for going 0-27 on that map.
Yeah, that's maybe we'll talk about that on the podcast sometime. We had a friend I was playing. I think it was just me and him playing.
Yeah, I wasn't there, unfortunately.
We were playing on Doc's Hardpoint, and he's not like a random person that like doesn't play COD. Like he played a rank play with us like every day, like pretty consistently, and he went 0-27 on a map of Hardpoint, and we scored like 150 points. So it's not like we got killed. Like we had 150 points, and he went 0-27.
Still don't know how that happened to this day.
Yeah,
you can't get one.
Like if somebody's one shot and you can't just kill them.
Yeah,
yeah, that's tough. I thought you were gonna say shout out attach for the artillery and hurt some Optic fans.
Not yet.
Right.
Number 3 is Breach.
I love that map, BO3.
It's a great one. And then number 2 is Arsenal for Black Ops 4.
I'm interested to hear number 1 now. There's a couple maps that I thought you were gonna have that. I mean, there's obviously only one spot left.
Number 1 is Frequency from Black Ops 4.
Wow, that wasn't. I thought your number 1 was either gonna be Fringe or Seaside.
All right.
I was shocked.
I'm going for 5.
Yeah,
gotta cut some out. I
like that a lot. I like that list. I'm shocked by London Docks being on it just because I figured your list was gonna be full of BO4, BO2, BO3 mostly.
Yeah,
and I mean it mostly was. It was what Arsenal and Frequency were in there. Breach, Slums, BO2. The other ones I thought like candidates. I thought for years I thought you might throw Infection Search on there just because like we had a lot of fun playing that. I thought Fringe because Fringe is my number 1 all time.
Yeah. Fringe is like I never really did good at that map, so I kind of hated it.
I love Fringe. I thought Stronghold you might say too. All 3 game modes, like a really good map. Well, I guess there's 4 in that game. It just didn't have
I'll
uplink.
do honorable mention for Fringe for uplink.
Yeah, the barn
Yep.
shot and like
Yep, barn shot.
yeah, for BO3 had so many good maps though. Breach, I even like Evac, Fringe. I loved Infection. Like it had so many good maps.
There's a lot of maps that I can't put in the list of 5 that are good.
I gotta save. I gotta save mine. I don't want to say too much more about what my opinion because maybe next week we'll run it back with like mine or something.
Yeah,
I
we
gotta
could
save my
definitely.
thoughts on it. You want to move on to guns or players now?
Let's go to players.
Okay. So start at.
Start at
Are
5.
you okay? I didn't even really specify how I wanted you to make this list. So did you do all time or currently active?
I just did players that like they're definitely still playing.
Okay. I'm interested to hear it. Let's hear it. Starting at bottom. So starting at 5.
5. Mister, when his ones attach.
Okay.
Number 4, he just won a world champ. Octane.
Okay. That's Kyle's guy. That was always Kyle. Kyle was Octane. He was like an Octane stan.
Number 3, Cammy.
I'm not surprised by that one.
Number 2, Mr. himself, YY man, Kenny. And number 1, I gotta go with Scump.
Yeah, I feel like that's like everybody's number 1 growing up. Everybody just watched Scump.
I know, I have to. We're both gingers, bro. Gotta stick together.
Oh man, I'm not that surprised by the list. I thought you were gonna troll and just say Doug was your number 1. That's
I don't mention Douglas Spencer Martin. Shout
uh,
out.
I don't mind that list. That's pretty similar to mine. Everybody that listens knows Kenny is like my favorite player. Um, I'm also like a big Methods fan. I like Methods a lot. Obviously, like I feel like Scump is a given for everyone because like growing up, a lot of us got into competitive COD largely because of him, probably, and like YouTube
Yeah.
videos and like Nadeshot and stuff. Like, obviously, if we're talking not active players, like Nadeshot and Aches, kind of a weird combo to like, but like Aches, Nadeshot, Scump is kind of like my introduction to competitive COD, like that trio. So I like them.
Hmm.
Obviously, like there isn't like the thing with me is I'm such a big competitive COD fan that like I have like a place that I'm a fan of like almost every player, like in a way. Like I like
Yeah.
guys like Temp, but then I also like I love the Cole Dynasty. Like I like Crim and Karma a lot, and I like Formal and Scump, and I like Kenny. I like there isn't really many pros I don't like. Besides, you guys know I have this random hate for Decimate. I swear he sucks, but I don't know.
We're talking about hate. That John guy sucks, by the way.
Oh yeah, Brock's least favorite player of all time is just John for some reason. He hates when I
Oh,
bring up that
why?
he's a world champ MVP.
Mickey Mouse, let's just say that.
Uh, I I think that that's a pretty good list though, and that's also kind of like important for people to go back on when we're talking about random topics because like we try to like not let bias creep in, but like when you're talking about like some of your favorite players, it's always gonna creep in. Like we're gonna like we know like you love Cammy, you love Attach, like you're gonna be a Minnesota fan this year on the podcast probably.
Might have to switch it up for my team.
Yeah, you used to be kind of like an ultra guy.
Ultra for for Cammy basically.
Yeah, we'll
I was
see.
gone.
All right. You got anything else to say to your players before we jump it in guns and then maybe wrap it up?
Also, one more honorable mention, put Formal.
Yeah, it's like just so hard, especially in the era that we came up in. Like, especially like your introduction to competitive COD is like mostly like Black Ops 3, right?
Yeah, mostly. I watched a little bit of Black Ops 2, but like not like a lot, like at all.
Yeah, and BO3 is like, I mean, you tuned
That's
into
when
BO3 early on. Optic was dominating,
yeah.
and like Scump and Formal are the biggest team, the biggest duo. So like, yeah, it's hard not to. And Formal also is like absolutely hilarious out of game.
Yeah, he is very funny.
Yeah,
And he doesn't
that's
even
a
try to be funny too.
Oh, that's another like newer player that's come onto. I mean, he's been around the scene for ages playing S&D, but I'm a big Illy fan also. He's been creeping up the list of my favorite players for a long time. I feel like players like Illy never are anybody's favorite player because Illy's not like dropping constant 1.3s. But like I
Hmm.
love Illy, like he's a great leader. He seems like he's one of the smartest minds in game. I love Search, so like seeing like a top tier Search player like IGL. I don't know. Illy's also climbed up my list, so like we'll save it though.
He's a grinder.
Yeah, we'll save it. I'll maybe make a list next week, so we'll save mine. I don't want to give too much away.
All
You can
right.
go into guns though if you're ready.
Yeah. Guns?
So these are
There's
like pubs, right? Pubs and competitive.
Yeah, it's a mix. It was hard to
Okay.
put like into 5. Number 5, we'll do the MSMC from Black Ops 2.
Okay.
And then we go to number 4, we go to the VMP from Black Ops 3.
Ooh. It sucks now though. They nerfed it.
Yeah, now it sucks, but at the time it was
Oh, it was so
really
back in the
good.
time. Yeah.
Like when I could fly in my jetpack, play uplink. No, I can't even do that. Number 3, the MP7 from MW2.
I thought that was gonna be your number one.
Really?
Yeah, I know because MP7 and in your game MW3. I literally maybe actually I know it might be your number one.
You might know.
Yeah.
Or I'm about to say it right now. Number
Okay. Was
2, the Maddox from Black Ops 4.
that actually wasn't what I was thinking, but that would make sense if it was number one.
Yeah. Number 1 is the MSR from MW3.
That's not. I was thinking you were gonna say the ACR for MW3.
I wanted to put the AC on there somewhere, but I had too many MWs, 3s
So go back
already.
over that one more time. 5 was MSMC.
4 was VMP.
Yeah.
3 was MP7. 2 was the Maddox for Black Ops 4, and 1 was the MSR.
I'm not really shocked by that at all. Besides, I really thought you'd have an ACR in there because you're a big MW2, MW3 guy. So I thought maybe an ACR would sneak its way in there.
I should have put it for the MSMC, but I really like that gun too.
Yeah,
When I played,
I'm also not surprised that you have a mix because like I feel like when we go towards my list, it's probably going to be pretty sub heavy, just because I've all like besides like maybe a little bit in like BO3 and every once in a while I'll run like a flex. Like typically when we play, I run sub. So like
yeah,
a lot of my favorite guns kind of tend to lean towards subs because a lot of my favorite COD memories are attached to guns, and what I've used and competitive wise. So it's like a lot of subs. So I think mine would lean towards that, but I guess I shouldn't be shocked. You love sniping, so I shouldn't be shocked that a sniper is your number one. But I feel like
yeah.
MSR is probably a hot take. Like I feel like most people would say like intervention.
Yeah, most people would probably do say that, but MSR to me is I like it better.
You know what sniper is like oddly nostalgic to me is the ballista from BO2. Everybody like says a DSR, but I love the ballista.
Yeah, that's also a good one. I want to put all of them on there, but I just can't put all of them there.
What are your other favorite snipers? That's like off the rails. We didn't prepare this one, but like I was thinking about my snipers and like I prefer the ballista over the DSR, even though I know it's like a wild take. And the other one I loved the Locust from BO3 and the SVG and the PO6. Like all the snipers in BO3, just like those guns are all so satisfying to use.
I like the what was the sniper from Black Ops 4? Paladin?
Paladin, yeah.
I like that one.
Yeah, that gun sounded like it just hit hard.
That one.
I don't know. Something about the SVG though, too, when you'd shoot it and the gun would like ripple and like, I don't know. It was like a super satisfying gun to hit shots.
It was
with.
like you shot the thing. It would hit hard.
Yeah, but it took a long time to get a second shot off too.
Yeah, it was definitely worse than the Locust for quick scopes.
Yeah.
That's the way I can only shots at the SVG over the Locust and quick scopes for the longest time.
Yeah. I don't want to give away too much of mine though, because next week maybe we'll come back. Maybe you'll run me through as the host, and I'll do my top 5 maps, guns, and players. Because I kind of talked about it a little bit, like way in the past, but like over time, the way you remember things and like my players over time might change, so it might change a little bit what I have to say.
Yeah.
You got anything else to say before I outro us and wrap it up?
I do not. Just thanks for the supportive comments on the last episode as well, Pod.
Yeah, we
I
got
saw some in there.
Yeah, we got some talk. Obviously, I respond from the actual account, so like Brock doesn't have like necessarily a way to like respond to comments besides like doing on his own YouTube. Yeah, but the support was good, and we're gonna see. I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of people that tune in during the season that maybe don't watch during the off season because it's just so dead, and they're gonna hear a new voice and probably gonna see a lot more pouring in comments as that rolls around.
Yeah. Other than that, no, I got nothing else to say really.
All right. So that's going to do it for this one. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Like Brock just said, we appreciate the support. If you enjoy on YouTube, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. We just hit 700. We just passed the 700 sub mark. So now we're on the road to 800. And then past that, at 1,000 is partnership level on YouTube. So we're kind of trying to get to 1,000 maybe when the season rolls around and support obviously starts to be a lot bigger because that's when people are interested. Maybe we can make a run and try to do some extra special stuff and like subscriber goals and stuff on the way to 1,000, so we can hit that. Because if we could hit, that's kind of like a running goal for this year, is to hit 1,000 subs on the channel during the MW2 season, and then get partnered on YouTube, and from there continue to make more podcasts and more like short form content and stuff. But if you guys enjoy this one on YouTube, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Comment down below your top 5 in one of those categories, or all of them. We'll go respond to them and we'll roast you or maybe agree with you. And then if you guys are on the audio platforms, I've been seeing a lot more reviews lately on Spotify. Drop those reviews on any of the audio platforms. Drop a like if you're able. But that's going to do it for this one, and we will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, everyone.